Anne from Game Like a Mother, and this is my November game chat where I'm going to talk about my own personal holiday wish list. A lot of the games on the wish list are thanks to viewers on this channel. I'm trying to slow my acquisition of games. My general rule is I'm okay with owning lots and lots of games as long as I'm playing them as they're coming in. If I have a big pile of unplayed games, that's not so great. I just need to, as long as I'm playing them, enjoying them, then it's okay. But let me know if you have other suggestions that you think that I would be right up my alley, or if you have your own games that you're just really excited about. For you, share what those are, and we can be excited that you have good games coming your way. And for my own wish list, a lot of the games that I play really aren't for me. They're games for my kids, or they're games that I think my husband will like, or that we can play with my parents for a family game night, or with my board game group. Which is great because I really like all of the games. I'm excited to play these games, but it's pretty neat when it's something specifically just for me. I did a little early Christmas shopping and got myself the Santa versus Krampus limited release for Dice Throne. I've talked about Dice Throne a few times. It's like kind of like Battle Yahtzee. There's a ton of different characters out there, and you can pit any character versus any other character. I have like a Marvel set with a bunch of different characters in it, so I could have Spider-Man battle Santa if I wanted to for a matchup. But this is just great characters, and the trick is for games that are just for me, sometimes it's trickier to find somebody who wants to play it. But my younger son loves any kind of dice game, is a good sport about it, and so he's my Dice Throne buddy. So he's ready, and his gangbusters to play this with me. We haven't played it yet, but it's about the right time too, so we're gonna start. And then the other games on my personal wish list is thank you to Writer Strong for commenting about how there's a new box of MicroMacro coming out. It's called Showdown, and it's basically MicroMacro is like Where's Waldo plus crime, and it's just this really fun game where you're tracking characters around on the board, and you have little clue cards where you're supposed to unravel some sort of crime, like something was stolen, someone was murdered, what happened, why, where did they, bury the loot, things like that. And it is so much fun. There's also a big box expansion that's coming out, and it has additional cases for all of the 4 different sets of MicroMacro that they have available, and they're saying that this is the end of the series, which is rather tragic because we love it so much. It's one of the games where you can get out and we can do a case, and it just takes a few minutes. And I play through with my older son. I'll play through a whole box while my husband plays through with our older daughter. And it's just really easy, but so fun to play. You can play it on your own, but it's nicer to have a buddy because then you get to talk about what you're seeing. Like, oh gosh, somebody's burying something in this park. I wonder if that's gonna matter for an upcoming case. So it's just a really neat, and there are a lot of clever elements, like in the first one, that when you figure out that there's a subway system and you have to track where people would come out as part of the case is really cool. So very excited about those, absolutely getting those as well. And then I also am finally embarking on the Oniverse Omniverse series, thanks to Speedway Tag, who very enthusiastically commented when I mentioned, oh, I've started playing the Oniverse digital version of the game, and said, oh my gosh, do you love it? There's all these other ones. Have you tried them out? And I was like, well, it seems really good. I'm happy with the digital version, and there's a lot of shuffling involved, and it just makes everything really easy. It's this game that takes place in like this dreamscape, and you're trying to place out sets of cards to unlock doors, and then once you've unlocked all the doors, you escape and you win the game. But you have to watch out for nightmare cards that do negative things to you. And it's just, they have all these different expansions that help you do other interesting, fun things. And it all works pretty well on the digital version. But then Speedway Tag came out with a video. He does YouTube videos of ranking the top 8, ranking the 8 games in the Omniverse. And I watched the video and just fell in love with these games because they all kind of have the same general like sort of theme and feel, but they have different gameplay, and it's just single player games, but puzzly and fun, and you're trying to escape or unlock something. And so I said, okay, which are the ones that I should start with after Onirim? And the newest one is Siberian, so he recommended that one. And FYI, these are very popular games. I buy a lot of my games through Miniature Market, and I check out their different lists to just kind of be up on what's coming out, what the new games are, especially if there's anything that looks like it would just be a good fit for the kind of games that I go for. And this was number 8 on their popular games list, Siberian, and that's above like Terraforming Mars, the dice game. I mean, so it's which is a reasonably big deal coming out. So these are popular games. That's another card game in the Omniverse series. But then we're also going to get a couple of the ones that have come out in the past. Castellion is a tower defense game, which is, I told my older son about these, and he is so on board. And I mentioned that this one was tower defense, and he said, yes, that's what he really likes. He's excited to play them. And then we're also going to get Arion because it's a card game with some dice involved. It gets to where you get to alter your cards or use the dice as part of the game. And I really love dice as a game element. So it's sometimes tricky with the one-player games, but it works surprisingly well, because when I play games, in general, I'm trying to do it as like a way to spend quality time with loved ones. But it's nice to have the one-player option sometimes, especially on your phone if you're waiting for something. Or in the evening, if I set up a one-player game and I'm playing it, usually I can have a kid come by and kind of help me, and it turns into a mellow co-op experience. And also my oldest son is fully prepared to sit and just play these solo on his own. So it's an interesting thing when you start doing you're like, solo games, why would you bother? There's a time and a place for them, and these ones are really pretty great. So we're getting 3 of them to start out, and I'm so excited. So, games I've been playing in the last month, there have been a few. Nice little assortment here. I am very happy about Holly Jolly. It is a perfect Christmas game to play that I feel like is a quick gamer option, because there's enough good decisions that you're making that you're not going to be bored, but it's just really simple and fast to get the basics and to get up and running. It's basically, I'd say it's like Sushi Go, but up a couple levels. And I don't actually love Sushi Go that much, but I really like the decisions I get to make in this. It just has kind of similar scoring for cards, and if you're familiar with that kind of game, then you'll do fine for this. You have a Christmas tree, and all you have to do on your turn is you're placing either Christmas lights or tinsel on one of 3 spots on the tree, and then whatever your item is that you add, the score is, if you put a Christmas lights on there, all the Christmas lights total score corresponds to an ornament on the tree, and you get to pick one of those. Some of them allow you to pick up items underneath the tree, like presents or stockings. Stockings have secret items and occasionally contain coal, which are worth 0 points, and you're just trying to have the most points by the end of the game. So very festive, quick, but fun, and has enough interesting decisions that it's just perfect, spot on. I got an advance copy from Pandasaurus of Look at the Stars, and it is a great flip and write option for people who love those kinds of games, which is me. And it's coming out in January, so it still has a little while before it comes out. And basically, you're trying to make constellations in a night sky, and cards are flipped out, and you just draw. It's so quick to get up and running. You draw what is on the card on your sky, and each person's sky card is slightly different, so you aren't just going to have the exact same setup. But the trick is the sun is coming up, and after you go through a certain number of cards, you can't draw on a certain part of the board. There are shooting stars, which are a nice element. There's some bonus cards where you get extra points or abilities if you make certain shapes. And it's all simple enough that you can be up and running really quickly, but there's enough depth there. They have advanced rules, a lot of different like goal cards as part of the game. So it's a great option. I don't know if it's quite at like Welcome to and Railroad Inc. are our favorite two games in this category. So I don't know if it's quite up to that level, but it's really nice in terms of variety and quick to play and just a really novel theme and option. So you use like a white chalk pen to draw your constellations. It looks really pretty. I played this with my parents. We loved it. I played it for a ladies' game night with two people who play a lot of games. We're also very tired because it was late at night, and we had a really good time playing this. So it's has made it through playtest with gold stars so far. I also got an advanced copy of the Royal Limited from Button Shy, and Button Shy Games, man, I love them. And it's fun, although I'm frustrated because I haven't mastered it yet. There are different levels of scoring, and you're trying to play out these train cards and put regular passengers in, and then you have to fit a couple VIP cards in there as well. And everything has like special abilities. If you get the passenger in the car, then there's something that happens for the train car where you get to either draw another card, or sometimes you have to discard a card or move a passenger. And it's just really good, puzzly fun. And it's single player. But I've been playing it, again, the single player games, I've been finding opportunities that they're really helpful. I've been playing this while waiting at sports practices. And this is great. There's a lot of train people who just really like train themed games, and this is a great option. And then we played, I'm really happy with this expansion because it fits in the regular box, but I got this for my son last Christmas, and he lost it until we were getting ready for our move. And it's the school bus expansion for Zombie Dice, and it takes what is just zombie dice in its own. You're just rolling for brains. You're a cute little zombie who wants to eat the most brains. First to 13 brains wins. Well, it's pretty simple. And then if you get shot 3 times, you go bust, and you don't get to keep any of your brains from that round. It's really cute, simple. Small kids can play this. The outside of the box is gross, but the dice are not. This ups it so there's a little more actual strategy. You can have a stop sign, dead end, yield sign. They'll tell you it's simple but fun. The things they do, you can get a couple brains but get shot once. You can get, I think there's one where you just get shot a whole bunch. There's at least 2 shotguns on here, but you can get a whole bunch of brains. So it just like adds in a little bit of a chaos factor and upped the game for us because we'd play it a little bit, and now both of my boys were like, again, which is really great. That's what the expansions are for sometimes, right? They just kind of refresh a game that you've played a bunch and adds in something a little bit new. And then our last game, the game of life goals. And I know you look at these things and you're like, what is this? Like the game of life? Are you kidding me? This has been the biggest hit with my older daughter, who doesn't necessarily love card games, and my older son, who plays a ton of strategic card games. And he's into this because there's like a fun storytelling, creative aspect to this game. And so it's sort of a game. You're trying to get the most points, but it's an experience as well because you'll play a card and it's like, oh, you learned a new language, and you're supposed to say what language you learned, and so you're just like, oh, I learned French because I want to go to Paris and eat all of the baguettes. And or you have a baby and you get to name the baby and talk about funny baby names. You get to steal things from each other. You can make people discard cards, and it is hilarious when somebody has you have a spouse and a pet llama, and they say, discard one of your family cards, and instantly you're like, I'm getting rid of this spouse and keeping the pet llama because I know it's important, and then the kids think that's hilarious. So it's really cute. It works well for play dates, and quite frankly, I like strategic games. I like hard-hitting games, but mostly I just want quality time with my kids, and if it's with something like this, I'm all for it. And this, to me, there's like a creative aspect to this, so it's different than things like Monopoly Junior, which are still, I play Monopoly Junior with my 4-year-old, unicorn themed, and it's cute and it's fine. Would I rather play Outfoxed with her? Yes, 100%. But if that's what she wants to play, I'm okay with it. I think it's one of the nice things about just having a lot of games is you have options to fit different times and different needs. So I'm talking myself into getting a lot more games for Christmas, which is good. I'm down for it. So thank you so much for tuning in. Let me know about your wish list, what games other people are getting for you or you're getting for yourself. You can totally get your gifts for yourself. It works. That's what I'm planning on doing. So thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you next time from Game Like a Mother.